Our Baltimore Ravens, they got us acting different. We over here waving and smiling at people that we don't even know. We giving extra hugs to family and friends. Why? Because the Baltimore Ravens are back, baby. After starting 1-5 and looking like the season was over, it was a wrap, they are sitting one game under 500. And as Ravens fans, especially recently, celebrating being one game under 500, that's crazy talk right there. But this season has been very, very crazy, so that's why we talking about it. But despite the Baltimore Ravens being back, and despite us getting ready to go on a historic run to break all these records, and we coming for that Super Bowl still, our Baltimore Ravens still have a significant issue that continues to be highlighted, but we just don't know if they will do anything about it, and that's the offensive line. The offensive line has been rough this season. It has had some nice patches there, but overall, pass protection, it's been pretty bad, man. In this chart that I saw yesterday, it highlights it like crazy. And this says every NFL team's pass protection rating versus QBR. And this is through week 9. Now, we see on this chart at the very top, best pass protection. At the very right, highest QBR. But on the bottom, worst pass protection. And to the very left, lowest QBR. So, how do the Ravens rank? Well, take a look. You see the Baltimore Ravens, we are all the way to the right for highest QBR. So it's like, okay, let's go. Lamar, we see you. That QBR looking nice, baby. But how does the pass protection combine with that? Well, we are not all the way at the bottom, but we're pretty close. And that says a lot about this football team. That says a lot about, continues to show how great Lamar Jackson is of a quarterback. Because if you would just look at the box score, if you would just look at his statistics, his numbers, you would say, oh, man, Lamar, he been doing this thing this year. You see his touchdown to interception ratio. Oh, he been going crazy with it. His offensive line must be just fine, right? No, it's not. And this is, again, it's an issue that has been being talked about from fans at the end of the ball since before the season even started, and it continues to be an issue that we continue to see problems with. Now, again, with Lamar Jackson, he missed practice today. As of this recording, I don't know why he missed practice. This is before the practice report comes out, and me and my family, we got to go enjoy this weather. So we ain't going to be stuck in the house, so we'll talk about whatever the practice report says sometime tomorrow. But regardless of what that practice report says, this is still an issue for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson has been getting beat up a lot this year. Remember Ed Oliver in that Bills game? Remember that? Remember, the Lions. Oh, my goodness. That was crazy. That Lions game where it was just, I think they had like a record on pressure. I had never seen that many pressures in a game before. A bunch of QB hits, too. They went crazy with it. And then the Chiefs game, Lamar Jackson actually got hurt. So it's like, if that won't put eyes on this offensive line for the Baltimore Ravens coaching staff, I really don't know what will. Let's get into some questions. First one came from my guy, Deshawn. He said, great win yesterday. Definitely was a thriller. I didn't get to watch the fourth quarter because I was helping my dad remodel their new house, but I'll stand by what I said. Okay, shout out to you being a good son. Well, excuse me, a great son. And shout out to your dad getting a new crib, man. Anyway, he said, 77 has to go for this team to get the chip. We are 30th ranked in short yardage because of our guards, and it's sad to watch. Henry won't be able to play a role in an Adam Sandler movie. So you already kissing them 2,000 yards goodbye. I actually forgot about that. Thank you for that reminder. But he said Henry won't get to play a role in the Adam Sandler movie, all because of 77. On the real, though, we don't stand a chance against the Eagles, D-line, and others like them. Ben Cleveland can't be that bad. Now, with that, since they're not going to make any changes to the offensive line, everybody's been complaining about the offensive line. We all have. They ain't going to make any changes to it. Let's just hope that they can continue to incorporate a quick passing game. Next question came from my guy, Jason. He said, I think Monken takes a job with the Giants. Okay, because he Monken with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. And okay, we'll see. He said, how would you feel about having the Penn State coach who got fired be our offensive coordinator? Although we are slowly turning things around, I still believe change is needed in management. Oh, I mean, if they make a change in management and they only bring in a different offensive coordinator, I don't really think that would be a big change at all. True change in management, like you're referring to, sounds like a change with Harbaugh, change with maybe Eric DeCosta. But I think in order to assess that properly, let's see how the rest of the season plays itself out. I do still think if they are going to remain here with the Baltimore Ravens, that both of them definitely need to make some changes. But I will say that we had the same exact conversation years ago. I wish I remember the exact year that it was, but it was like 2-3 years ago when we talked about the Ravens need to change their philosophy from the top down. And anyway, moving on, he said, bring in someone that has a different perspective, not someone who grew up in the same system. And hopefully Falele is gone and Linderbaum stays. Oh, he had to throw that in there. See, a lot of people saying the same stuff about Falele, but it ain't going to change. Next question came from my guy, Mikey J. He said, man, when are we going to give this punter his props and credit he deserves? Our guy has been balling out this season so far and playing like one of the top punters in the league. Top 5 in yards per punt and top 5 in punts inside the 20. Oh, I know he was top 5 in punts inside the 20 too. That's amazing. He said he has a 50% rate of getting a punt inside the 20, and a lot of them have been inside the 10. We love how our defense has turned things around, but the punter has his part to play in that as well. He does. All Jordan Stout is doing is just remembering, oh, it's contract year. You know what? let me ball out right now. Let me go get this bread, whether it's from the Ravens or somebody else. Anyway, he said, honestly, the entire special teams has been incredible since the bye week. Loving Keandre Jackson. He's a straight-up baller. Hats off to those guys and hoping Loop can break Cam Little records soon. Oof. What, that's a 68-yarder? Ooh. Well, I mean, if it's in a blowout or something like that, then yeah, if the game's on the line, I would be scared for that right now. Especially a field goal that long. Anyway, he said, also, Justin Tucker is done serving his suspension and now eligible to sign with a team. Do you think he may go to the Birds in Atlanta and kick over there? Oh, yeah, they've been having their kicker issues. So they certainly could take on anything that came with signing Justin Tucker. If they were to sign him, there would be a little bit of coverage on it. Atlanta is obviously a big market, but the team is like, they ain't really nothing right now. So there will be a little bit of like hoopla over it initially, then it would all go away. Next question came from my guy, Nova. He said, I don't know about EDC. I ain't Ingraven over here again, and I needed some time to collect my thoughts after this trade deadline because they were all over the place as usual. I feel you. I'm right there, too. He said, but I've condensed them down to basically one question and a theory. Love to know your thoughts, but as always, appreciate your channel and hoping the family and you are doing great and holding up. Appreciate that, my friend. He said, so the question basically is this. Who needs to go in order to see some actual changes here? For the longest, I've been a supporter in getting Harbs out, and EDC has changed my tune of him in the past few years. But this trade deadline, I was expecting to see more than Draymond being added, which now makes me think EDC now is expendable. Hear me out. So, we have seen EDC change his tune towards free agency and trade deadlines in the past few years with these moves being more aggressive. Naming a few people we have added, Gilman, D-Hop, King Henry, and OBJ in recent years, but even before them, he made trades. Whoa, hold up. Now, Gilman, trade, yes. D-Hop was not a trade. Derrick Henry, they tried to, but it obviously fell apart from Tennessee's side. And OBJ was not a trade either. He was a free agent. But anyway, and then he said, but even before them, he made trades for Roquan. When he saw Queen wasn't enough inside, he got Marcus Peters. When he saw corners outside, Marlo needed help, and Marlo was Peanut Tillman that season. Yeah, he was. So we saw him get Calais Campbell when Nnamdi was learning his role. Right, they did trade for Calais Campbell. That was a trade right there. There was a trade in the offseason, though. But yeah, they traded for him. He said, and he was excellent. He got Zeitler from the Giants when he saw how bad the guard play was when Yonder retired, and he did exceptional. That wasn't a trade. That was a free agent signing. But anyway, continue. He says, so with how bad this team had been this year, we expected more D-line and offensive line help. This was pre-Lamar being signed. EDC action and beyond frustrating and mind-boggling to not just mind-boggling to not just you and I, but majority of fans. We know Hobbs is totally fine being good. I thought EDC was also good, but was starting to make moves to become great at his job. But this is a setback for sure. Can't expect your players to give it their all and the leadership to continue to be mediocre. And if we as fans can watch tape and see 77 holding or falling every play, see, another one. Another question. He talking about something completely different, but still, Falele comes in there. Anyway, he said, if we can watch tape and see Falele holding or falling every play, then I'm sure they can see it too. As an example, based off your video, I know you agree, but any input would be appreciated. Now for my theory, we know EDC is a man who learned from Ozzie Newsome and the importance of draft picks, but maybe the fear of missing is keeping him put. As I stated, some great moves. EDC has had his share of misses like Earl Thomas. I don't even think Earl Thomas was a miss. I think it just didn't work out. But I don't think he was. I thought that was an excellent signing. And I thought Earl Thomas, he played pretty good. Yeah, Derrick Henry just sent him to another dimension with that stiff arm. But I thought Earl Thomas, he did his thing with the Ravens. That's just my opinion, though. Anyway, he said he's had his share of misses. Earl Thomas, Andrew Villanueva, Marcus Williams. I don't think Marcus Williams was a miss either. He had the injuries, which sucked. And then the defensive scheme changed. And everything went bad for him after that. It also went bad for Brandon Stevens after that. Also went bad for Roquan Smith after that. So a lot of guys and the whole defense just dropped off. So anyway, he said, but he has more hits with drafting than his misses, really being Oway, who looked promising after his rookie season, and Ajabo. He said maybe he takes this approach because he has more faith in his drafting and not his trades or free agents. I feel like that's an interesting way to put it. There's obviously risk either way, but I think what it is with the drafts is much less risk because there's much less financial risk. If you trade for somebody, you got to give up whatever draft picks it is to acquire them, and then possibly, actually got to bring on their current contract and then possibly sign them to an extension depending on how things go. But in free agency, that's what trades with free agency. You're signing that person to a contract based on, hey, I think you could come in here and ball out. I think you'd be pretty good for a team. So those are bigger risk, obviously, than draft picks. So I'm glad you brought this up because this helps me think about it in a different way that I didn't even think of before when it comes to that. So that's why it does make sense where EDC keeps a lot of draft picks and ends up drafting all those draft picks because the risk affiliated with it is much lower than taking a swing on a big-time free agent or taking a swing on a big-time trade piece. So I appreciate you bringing this up. He said maybe that's why he wants 15 draft picks each year, even if there's more value on the market. In a way, it would be him playing to his strengths. I can't call it, but would love to hear your opinion. Thanks again, as always, brother. No, I appreciate you, Nova. Next question came from my guy, Omar. He said, hey, Ingraven, hope all is well with you and the family. Let's celebrate the win. That never gets old. You're right. It never does. He said, after Ravens games, I used to wait for national media coverage to get the post-game takes and narratives. But since I discovered your platform around 18 months ago, I wait for your views first. I feel your analysis gives the most accurate and insightful description of the entire Baltimore Ravens organization, not just the game that happened, but the direction of the players, coaching, and front office. I thank you for that. Oh, man, you ain't got to say all that, man. I appreciate that, man. I really do. That's special, man. I appreciate you, Omar, for real, man. He said, this was a complimentary football win to the T. I can't say any phase played exceptional, but they all contributed well enough to end up with more points than the Vikings. That's true. Because it wasn't like the offense was going crazy. Now, got to give them credit because against a very, very good defense, like we saw it, they are a great defense. Ravens scored 27 points, and they weren't even clicking like that. They weren't even, there were no like splash plays. They weren't like putting up a bunch of yards. That was a grind at a tough game, but they still put up 27 points. So it just makes you think like what the possibilities of this team can be. Anyway, he said, when you can win games that way and then get hot at the right time, you have a chance. They do. To be dangerous. My question to you is, how do you think Roquan Smith played? I didn't see any splash plays, but he looked like he was moving well and directing the defense. As always, appreciate your insight, my brother. Thank you, Omar. I thought Roquan Smith did his thing. Roquan Smith, there was a splash play, but they took it away for whatever reason. That interception. And that interception, it was close. It was close, but they ended up taking it away. They said, oh, no, we're done. That's it. But yeah, and then there was the, I guess a negative splash play with the pass interference where he pushed that, I think it was a running back. I think it was Aaron Jones. He just pushed him down. Some people said it was an uncatchable ball, but whatever. But yeah, Roquan, when I'm watching the game, since I'm watching it from the broadcast point of view, it's hard to say for me if Roquan like played good or not because I'm not like watching his every single move. Like for somebody like Lamar Jackson, who's a quarterback, he hits the ball every single play. So for somebody like him, we can say, oh yeah, Lamar had a good game. For somebody like Derrick Henry, offensive line is hard because not just watching them, we're watching everybody else. For a receiver, for a tight end, so for me, it's harder for certain positions to be like, all right, they had a good game, so you get what I'm saying. But with Roquan Smith, I just think he's been tricky because the Ravens traded that second round pick to acquire him. Like my guy Nova was just talking about in the previous question. Then they end up paying him $20 million per year. And Roquan, he's been good. I don't feel like he's been great overall for the Baltimore Ravens throughout his tenure. Because I feel like a lot of those big plays are missing. If you're paying somebody $20 million per year, then yeah, they should be a big impact player for your team. Again, Roquan Smith is not bad. He's not bad at all, but I feel like the impact, it should just be a lot more. And in that Browns game, that's the type of Roquan. So he ain't gonna make crazy plays every single game, but more often than not, you would. And this game from him with the Vikings, again, he made one of those plays with that interception that should have closed the game out. And he's been looking better overall, I think, in my opinion, because I think with Roquan Smith, when he's bad, it stands out. I will say that. When he's bad, it stands out. And now that is something that we can see. When he's playing rough and like whether it's missing tackles, whether it's just moving slow, whether it just feels like the agility is not there like it should be, then that does stand out. But recently, I don't think that has been standing out. So I guess he has been doing his thing. Next question came from my guy, Baby Ray 5210. He said, say it with me, Ravens, Ravens. Let's go. He said, feels good waking up on this Victory Monday. All glory to the man upstairs and, of course, our Baltimore Ravens. We are one game behind from leading the AFC North once again. Wanted to send my message with my thoughts on the game. Offense was a little iffy, but I was talking with my brothers that was over, and I was telling them that I don't know why we keep going away from running plays under center. He said, we all knew once we was in shotgun, they were sending the house every rip. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Just plays under center in general. That's a really, really good. I appreciate that. Good point. He said, we had all of our success from under center, and that brings me to the joy of our duo, Thunder and Lightning. And I'm sure you can tell who that is. The end of the first half show what those two can do. And I can't wait to see them moving forward. Like Coach Harbaugh said, he wants to see. We'll see what he does with Keith Mitchell. We'll see. He said it. He said the right things. Now, are you going to do the right things? Anyway, he said, now the defense. We are really coming together. Another multiple turnover game. If we can really keep this going, we will be dangerous. He said, one of our underrated players that I really see having a good impact for us these last two games is CJ Okoye. He's really been holding things down in the middle. The back end is definitely starting to gel, and we have to keep this going the next 3 weeks. Browns, Jets, Bengals, we have to go 3-0. We cannot play down to them. That's true. Will they play up to the Ravens, though? Especially, I think the biggest kind of shaky game on that schedule is against the Bengals. Because you know Jamar Chase, you know T. Higgins, and it ain't even like they got nothing to lose now. The Browns and the Jets do. They ain't got nothing to lose. But the Bengals, they got something to play for because they're down, but they not out of it yet. And we'll see how they do against the Pittsburgh Steelers this Sunday. Because that's a big game, too, for us. Because that game changes things as well for both of the teams and for the Ravens too. So as far as the AFC North standings, but he said, hope you and the family are good. Let's keep this going and hashtag Flock Nation. Next question came from my guy, Ronald. He said, hey, Ingraven, hope everything is well. But is it me or do the Ravens not run the ball with Justice Hill? Oh, they do. I mean, he just got a touchdown on Sunday against the Vikings. But I do feel like they've been running it a little bit less with him, just a little bit. Because they have started to give maybe like 3, sometimes 4 carries to Keaton Mitchell. And, of course, we want it to be more. But I think with Keaton Mitchell, he hasn't been on the field too much. They have not been giving him the ball too much. But the little carries that he has gotten has taken away from the little carries that Justice Hill gets. The Ravens run game. Next question came from my guy Lance. He said, good evening. Hope all is well. Just wanted to ask for your opinion regarding the Ravens run game. Now, I may have some Madden brain rot. However, I believe the Ravens need to implement a triple option. When you have Derrick Henry, Lamar, and Keaton, it makes no sense not to use all 3 of them to their fullest potential. You could have ended the question right there. But anyway, he said, now, do not get me wrong. Performing a triple option in real life is harder than the game, but we have seen teams like Navy do it at a high level, especially last year. Having something like this up your sleeve can allow us to exploit teams' defenses that struggle with the run and are not disciplined with tackling. Keep up the good work and look for your response. Hey, I appreciate that. Ooh, a triple option. That would be something right there. That would be tough to work out. Well, actually, no. It's Lamar. It's Derrick Henry. It's Keith Mitchell. They could do it. So, Monken, run it up. You know what? Let's stay on topic. Next question. The running back room came from my guy, Deandre. He said, hello, Ingraven. Just have a question, so hear me out. Upon watching these past few games with Derrick Henry and Keith Mitchell, I honestly feel like because of the guard play, the Ravens should use them as a 1-2 punch like the Lions used David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Thank you. Because it should not be this tough. It should not be this complicated, especially when you're a team. Don't y'all pride yourselves on a running game? And look, I know when Harbaugh said, hey, it's tough to get Derrick Henry off the field, it's tough to take him off the field, I get that. I respect that. It's Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs ever. One of the most successful running backs ever. But if you got somebody like a Keaton Mitchell who could spell Derrick Henry, like, like a key like that explosive run, like you take off in like 2 seconds. Anyway, he said, now he said, use them like those, but Keaton being the number one. Ooh, oh my, he took it there. Okay, let's see what he got to say. He said, not because Keaton is better, but because of the poor guard play. Again, different question, different topic, but people still bringing up them guards. Anyway, he said, since the O-line is not creating those bigger holes, Keaton would be the better back to get the yardage. Plus, he is faster than Derrick Henry, and he could continue to wear. And Derrick Henry could continue to wear defenses down. Let me know your thoughts. That would be something. If they had Keaton Mitchell start off as RB1. Now, Ravens they're not going to do that. But and to me, it don't even got to be a necessary RB1, RB2. But to just have them complement each other. Well, actually, RB1, he would get majority to carry. So I guess that is that. But just to have them complement each other, because their skill sets are both very, very powerful, very dangerous, but very different. So what one does well, they both do a lot well, but they complement each other perfectly, man. And don't forget about Justice Hill, too. Don't forget about him. Because Justice Hill be doing this thing as well. But Keaton Mitchell that's that lightning, man. That's that lightning, and it's like when you watch him on the field, when you see him, when they toss the ball to him, that boy is quick. And if there's a slight hole, he's already skinny, but he gets skinny and then he's gone. Next question came from TheyCallEmTeck. He said, much love to you, Ingraven, for all your hard work and keeping us in the loop with all the Ravens news and updates. I salute you and been watching your videos for years. I had to become a member and support your movement. Hey, appreciate that, Tech. Thank you, man. He said, my question is, what made you become a Ravens fan? Personally, I love Ray Lewis and his tenacity and leadership. I tried to embody that for my high school team, East Stroudsburg, North Timberwolves in Northeast Pennsylvania, but my question is, what made you gravitate to the flock? I don't think anyone has asked you this, but I feel like it's a great question to ask and an opportunity for your followers to become more connected to you. Oh, yeah, we've been asked that before. It comes here and there, which is fine. And he said again, thank you for your work. And just like Derrick Henry on his own stretch run with the O-line handling business, I'm going. Well, they got to handle business first. But no, what made me become a Ravens fan was when we lived up there. And my family, who had season tickets, they would take me to games. They would take me to games, and I was sort of into football, but not like into football like that. And then I don't remember what my first game. I don't remember if it was against I don't remember if it was Ravens Titans or Ravens Steelers. It was one of those two though. But it was forever ago. But they took me to the games, and just because I was a big wrestling fan growing up, still a bit of a wrestling fan too, not nearly as much as I used to be when I was younger, but it still be fun nowadays. But anyway, it just like watching them come out the tunnel and stuff with all the fire, and they had the fireworks sometimes too, and just watching that energy, it was so fun. It just reminded me of like when the wrestlers be coming out with the music and the pyrotechnics and all that. I was like, oh man, this is fun. And then like on third down, when the Ravens would be on defense, because that's back in the days when the Ravens ain't handle offense like that. But anyway, when they would be on defense and they would show Ray Lewis on the big screen, and you see him yelling, and you see him sticking his tongue out and going, doing all this crazy stuff. I'm like, man, you just felt that, man. You felt like you want to run out there and go put on a purple jersey and go help them out too. But that's and then just over time, just continuing to watch and continuing to understand football and appreciate football even more. And then way down the road from that, we started doing this and doing the YouTube videos. We just started doing them as a fan, and we still are a fan. But first we started with Madden videos, and shout out to anybody that was around for those. Those were fun. But then I got tired of Madden, and then we switched over to just talking about the Ravens. And doing these has helped us really appreciate everything that goes into it that much more. Everything that goes into football that much more, because obviously you see the games every Sunday. But doing this, talking about the Ravens literally every single day, it's helped us have a deeper appreciation for the business side of things, like the transactions, the draft, the trades, the signings, who the general manager is, the owner, how they operate, looking at tendencies and whatnot, trying to figure out what this move means and how to make sense of what they did here and why this wouldn't be the best fit, and just everything. And just doing this has made us even bigger fans of obviously the Baltimore Ravens, but just football in general too. So I appreciate you asking that question, and I appreciate you supporting the channel too. Thank you, Tech. Next question came from my guy TJ. He said, well, I guess the Jaire Alexander move turned out to be a good one. He stepped away from football because he ain't right. I hate that for him. Get back soon, Jaire Alexander, and get healthy. Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks. It's tough. It's got to be tough on him. Obviously, the physical part, but even more so the mental part, because it's like, man, I've been playing football good, and then all of a sudden, it's just gone. So for somebody, not even just to be like, all right, I'm trying to rehab, I'm trying to get right, I'm hurt right now, so the team ain't going to be able to use me, but for somebody to literally be like, you know what, I'm stepping away, that takes a lot. So yeah, shout out to Jaire Alexander, and we do hope that he gets right.